Hello and welcome to the Come Alive podcast. I'm your host, Mehermir Chandani. I'm a mother with a story, a business leader with a vision, and a leadership coach with a mission to transform lives and businesses. I am dedicated to empowering 10x growth in fellow humans by unlocking the transformative power of self-connection. I'm happy to announce a unique collaboration with YPO MENA and Regional called Every Journey Has a Story to Tell. It's a 24-episode podcast series of inspiring YPO members. If you'd like to be on the show, please do reach out to me and I'd love to host you. Today on the Come Alive podcast, we welcome Sonia Gokhale, founding partner at Souq, former investment professional at ADIC, and a global recognized actuary and investor. With a career spanning venture capital, tech, and sovereign wealth, Sonia blends data-driven precision with purpose-driven leadership. She's a proud mother and YPO member and a passionate advocate for innovation, inclusion, and conscious decision making. So happy to have this conversation with Sonia today. So welcome, Sonia, and thank you for coming on the show. Super excited to start this conversation and learn more about your journey.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
So it's so interesting, from actuarial science to venture capital. What were the mindset shifts that you had to do and what made you do this?
Sure. So I'll kind of give you a bit of background on my journey and how I got from doing actuarial science to venture capital. So I came out to Dubai in 2011. My husband got recruited. He was working as a lawyer at the time. And I transferred through work. I was working at a consulting company called Mercer. And I just transferred from the Toronto office to the Dubai office. And I was working in actuarial consulting. So I was working on social security plans in the region and consulting to them. And then from there, I was recruited to join one of the sovereign wealth funds called the Abu Dhabi Investment Council in their special situations group. And that was a very interesting group to join. The Sovereign Wealth Fund is mainly like a fund of funds. So, and that group did a lot of the direct investments into opportunities, including growth stage tech opportunities. So that's when I really started to do tech opportunities in a more institutional way, investing. And then at the same time, along with my partners, Tamer, Kadumi, Sonia Gokhale, and Sunil, my husband, we were doing a lot of angel investing at the time, like into early stage tech companies, and really just out of interest, something that we were interested in doing individually. So we came together and started doing it together as a group. And then we formed these like kind of angel investment clubs. And so we brought in other people into the deals, and it was kind of on the side of our desks, like for fun. And then it started to snowball into something, because, tech investing at the time was, kind of a super hot, and a lot of people didn't know a lot about it. So we were able to help and bring people into deals with us. And then it became our side hustle, the side of our desk. Each of us had our jobs. My husband was a lawyer and still working as a lawyer at the time. My partner, Sonia, was in strategy, and my other partner, Tamer, was in private equity. And we were all doing this on the side of our desk, to the point where your side hustle becomes like every good side hustle becomes your main job. And we all quit our jobs and started Souq. We were the 4 founding partners of Souq, because we created it together.
And what does Venture Souq do now?
So Venture Souq is an early stage VC based in the MENA region. We invest in early stage tech startups. We look for great opportunities and really try to help them grow. We started off doing a lot more global opportunities initially because that's where our networks lie. That's where we found deals, and that's what a lot of the investors were interested in, is doing deals kind of outside of the region, getting access to U.S. opportunities, and we had a good pipeline, so we would kind of bring these to the region. And then as we were doing it, this region became extremely interesting. The government started really focusing on building tech hubs here in the UAE and in Saudi. So a lot more capital started, becoming available, and they were putting a lot more capital to work in this ecosystem, and the startups became really interesting to invest in. So we switched our focus from global to regional, and now we're investing in this region specifically, and it's actually a very exciting time to be investing in early stage tech in MENA specifically.
Wow, that's amazing. So from working with the company to being an owner of a company, how has that journey been? What was maybe your one biggest learning?
Oh my God, it's challenging, to be honest. Like to build a company, like half the time you're wondering whether you're doing the right thing. Half the time you're just trying to get through the day and to make sure there's not, like, you haven't made any screw ups. But really, it's about being adaptive and having rolling with the punches. If things go wrong, you gotta move fast and kind of correct and adjust, and then correct and adjust. So like I explained earlier, how we went from global investing to regional. We saw when you got to see opportunities, you kind of adjust and move and adapt. And that's what we look for in our founders when we're investing in them, is this founder able to adapt and adjust and grow with the ecosystem? And we feel like we had to do the same as well with Venture Souq, is that we had to grow and adapt and adjust consistently throughout, building a business. It's challenging because you go from having a secure job, which and at the time was a nice job for us. We all had like these kind of jobs that we worked really hard to get to. We worked really hard to be at, really worked really hard internally to grow. And then just to like leave that, take the risk and start your own business. It's scary for all of us.
Absolutely.
And we did it and didn't look back, because building your own business and being entrepreneurial is so valuable in its own right. So, you take everything with it, and it build, like actually building something your own for yourself and potentially for the next generation. It's really something that you get excited over, and when you wake up in the morning, you're excited to go out and build something, because it's your vision that you're building, and kind of seeing that through is one of the most valuable parts of being an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. So it feels so passionate when you speak about it. So is every day filled with intrinsic motivation and passion? Because I've been asked this question so many times as an entrepreneur. Or do you feel some days that, I wish I couldn't go? It's okay for me not to go to work? Can I just sleep in bed? So how does the challenging situations feel as an entrepreneur?
Absolutely. Now I'm at the point where I'm like, I tell people I tell my parents I can't go back and do a regular job anymore. This is just so much more fun, and this is so much more rewarding for me to build something with my partners, as opposed to going in there doing my job and kind of going home and not thinking about it after. So now whenever the next day, I was like, okay, what can I do to build this business? What can I do to grow this business? Because it's all on you. It's all what your vision and what you see and what you want out of the company, and same with myself and my partners. That is very exciting, and I don't think I can go back to another job again. And for me, that's a big mind shift, because I had always been very risk averse with my career, with studies. When I was younger, work hard. I always assumed, I'll be an actuary kind of forever, and be happy in that position. I never thought I would risk everything, quit, and build my own business. But I surprised myself actually by doing that, because I am a very risk averse person, and to do that was a big mind shift for me personally. And now I look back and I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's beautiful. And it's so true. I think when like they say, when you jump into the water, you learn to swim.
Yeah.
And in leadership and in entrepreneurship, I've realized that even in my journey, when I joined the family business, I didn't come from, my learnings were not from this huge business with different verticals. I've started with fashion, and all I did was just fashion, and I had my skilled labor that I used to take care of. But managing a C-suite team, making sure that you are able to deliver as a leader is super challenging.
Yeah.
But I think then it gets also addictive at the same time, because you start enjoying it. You enjoy the thrill, the journey. And also I feel, so everybody asks me, why don't I have caffeine? Because I think it gives me that, kick every day to be able to contribute to people, to the company, to the vision, to the strategy, to grow the company. I'm so charged that I really don't need any kind of caffeine during my day. And you work with your husband.
I do.
How is that?
It's nice actually, because we feel like we're building something together, which is a really nice thing. And I know a lot of people build, family businesses together. This is not a family business, but it's nice to both be contributing towards one business, and we kind of understand each other. Like if one person has to work late or one person has to go on a business trip, it's fine. We just adapt as a family, and so it's nice to build something together. We don't work on a lot of things together. We work on separate things, but it's nice. It's nice to
because statistics show that there could be things that could go wrong as well, because you see so much of each other, and then there are differences. So how do you resolve conflicts?
Well, we tend to work on different things in the company.
So you have different roles.
Yes, exactly, and that's helpful. We work really closely with our partners. So we've got a lot of other people are always around. So that's also fine as well. So it's more just, we're building something together, and there's a bigger picture that we're always looking at, too, that any of the minor day-to-day things, they don't matter. So
it's always the focus on the vision.
Yes,
and
exactly.
So you let go of small differences for the cause of the vision.
Exactly. And it's with all of our partners. We all all have to get along and mesh as together.
So the understanding is beyond. Just normal. I want to say, when you work with people that matter to you, like maybe your partners or your life partner or your husband, it's also about understanding compassion also, right?
Yes.
It's a lot about compassion. It's about the shared vision.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And that's what we're all working towards. And we have a great team that works with us as well, that are all really wake up in the morning and really want to contribute to Venture Souq as a team. So we've been very, very lucky with all of the team members on the team. It really it's a joint effort, and we're really can't do it without the whole team, really. But as you kind of build a business, you're my skill set was always very mathematical, because I'm an actuary, so very mathematical, very probabilities based. I had to build my skills on managing people, understanding emotions, and how that fits in the workplace. And that is very interesting about how you grow as a business owner, and how you as a person change. Because when it's your business, you have to do everything, right? Especially initially early on, as we're growing the team, etc. And so we had to understand our strengths, understand our limitations, and build on those limitations, and grow as a person. And that is the best part about owning your business and doing yourself, is to build on skills you just didn't have before.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's so, so, so true. And you're obviously working in a male dominant, I want to say, ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would your guiding words be for women who want to start in this ecosystem in finance, financial tech?
Yeah. I've kind of always been in a male-dominated ecosystem because I went from consulting to working in a government position, in a government institution, and then now owning our own business. And it's along the way you sometimes you're the only female in the room, and then sometimes you have a lot of female support. I think throughout my journey as a female in this like quote unquote male dominated industry, I was very lucky to have a lot of great mentors along the way to help guide me through that. Very early on, when I was an actuary, I had an amazing female mentor that really stuck her neck out to be supportive and helpful and teach me. And I learned so much from her, and I'm very grateful for her as a mentor. And then as when I was at the investment council, I had an amazing boss. He was tough. But he was very, very supportive for me, and I'm very grateful for that. I'll give you kind of a story as a female trying to work in a male-dominated world.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get pregnant, you're trying to have a kid, and you're very terrified about telling anybody at work this is what you're going through. You're trying to build a family because you're always worried about what they're going to think, whether you're going to come back, are you going to be less, you want to work less hours as a female. There's all these things that are going through your mind. And I needed to go through treatments at the time, as many do. And I was going to the doctor a lot. And then my boss, everyone worked there till late hours. Like we're putting in 12, 14-hour days. He called me into his office. He's like, what's going on? Why are you going? I think he thought I was really sick. like, why are you going to the doctor? And I just told him, I was like, look, I'm trying to have a kid. I'm trying to build a family. And he turned to me and I said something I never thought he was going to say, because you think you're in this male-dominated industry and that you're not going to get the support. And he's like, no problem. If you need to go to the doctor, just let me know. And I know you're going to get your work done, and you'll be attentive, and things won't slip. I'm happy to support you along the way. And to get that, and be lucky to have people that support females, that what we need to do to build our family, while working and juggling everything, having those type of people in your life and in your career. And my boss at the time was just an amazing support network and so I'm not sure if I was lucky, or there's females are there is support out there, and you're able to juggle it. But it was nice to have those people in my life.
So be authentic, right? It's your journey, and you need to own it.
Yes, exactly.
So I guess that's the learning I get from it.
Yeah,
when you opened up to him, he was more than happy to support you and say, do what you need to do, and happy to support.
Yeah. I think also like post-COVID and with like working from home, Zoom calls, I think that all of this has really helped the family environment. Like I couldn't imagine having my child in that in an environment where you're working 14-hour days, 12-hour days, like I did when I was younger, early in my career, and being able to show up to sports day or show up to soccer matches, and now because we're able to Zoom, we're able to work from home, and that's just more part of our daily life. It's better for the whole family unit, because now not just the mothers, the fathers are able to put their kids to sleep. We've got fathers in Venture Souq that are saying, okay, can we please not have a call between 5 and 7 because I would like to put my kid to sleep. And of course, and it's just the working environment has changed significantly post COVID, and to me that is extremely valuable, because my child's young now. I want to spend as much time with him, but I don't want to, have to choose my child over a career, or because I'd like to also build the business and have my career. So having that flexibility, I think for everyone has been such a game changer.
That's amazing. And that's so true, right? Because They often say that business is part of life and we can't let it take over our life.
Yes.
As long as we can manage both, life is more joyful, it's more fulfilling, and that's what people look for.
Yeah. And so that, like that, I think has been, being able to do that has helped, making it more fulfilling. Like you see a lot of the parents come back on at 8 o'clock once the kids are asleep, and they're like sending emails and having calls, and we're happy to provide that flexibility at Venture Souq for anybody that, if they want to be able to not take those calls at those hours, so they can spend time with their kids and then do the work on their time. That's something we're very happy to provide our whole team. And it's a new world where everything is tech, and we're tech first. We invest in tech companies. So if we can offer that to our employees, we're very happy to.
That's amazing. And what are the practices that you cultivate in your life to keep you emotionally intelligent, emotionally in line with your team members, to be able to understand what you just said, to be able to give them that flexibility, to understand different people have different challenges, to honor them, respect them, because I do believe the relationship we have with ourselves determines the quality of every other relationship in life, be it with our team members or be it with our children or be it with our husband. So it would be amazing if you could share some practices that keep you grounded and emotionally intelligent.
When we first started the business, it was a lot of work, and it still is a lot of work. But to get it to where it is now took, a lot of time, working around the clock. Whenever we thought of training, it was all for the employees and our juniors. I didn't think of training for myself. So I got to the point where I'm like, okay, now the business is in the place where it's functioning, and we're at a place where it's running, and so now you can take a step back and say, okay, I need to work on improving myself and growing myself, and whether it's learning more about AI, because that's going to help me in the business, or whether it's spending more time exercising, spending more time away from work, and whether it's meditating, etc. It's I kind of a year ago said, okay, I need to spend more time on growing myself as a person, and since then I've been trying to find different courses, read books, spend some time exercising on a daily basis to grow as a person, because you get I got so sucked up in the business earlier of like just growing it, and we all did, everyone that was working in the business at the time. But it's nice to take a step back and say, okay, now I'm going to focus a little bit on myself, and that has been kind of very, very rewarding to do at this point in my life.
And how has YPO helped you to become the person you are today?
So YPO, we joined in October last year. And to me, a lot of it was because of I wanted to build and grow as a person and myself. And it's the education events have been very, very valuable because they have now access to a lot more educational events to grow as a person. And it's not just on the business side. YPO also focuses on health and wellness, even with your children, how to be better children, because really work is work, but the biggest challenging part of my day is how to raise, a good child and, feel like I'm not completely messing it up. And so the YPO also offers, classes on how support on, family aspect. So to me, it's been a very amazing part of my journey, especially now that I'm trying to focus on growing as a person or myself. So extremely, extremely amazing. And then on top of that, being able to share experiences with other people and other business owners that have gone through it, challenges that we face, how to overcome those. It doesn't have to be someone from the same industry, just someone who has, dealt with people in a certain way, or how to grow business in a certain way. That has been also amazing, just having people to share experiences with and learn from their experiences as well.
So thank you for sharing that. So a leader has to have immense amount of resilience to grow. What would you say was your biggest moment of challenge that helped you become more resilient as a leader?
I think when we started switching, and when we, as a business, we actually moved. We evolved like a few times as a business. We were first global investors, doing syndicate deals. Then we were working with family offices, and then we started an institutional fund, and each time you switch and each time we're pivoting and moving things around as a business, I feel like I grew as a leader and as a person, and our vision grew, because you have to be adaptive, and we adapt with the time. So when we started the institutional fund, I started working on fundraising and working with investors more, and that became like a bigger part of my role at Venture Souq. And that was I had to learn and grow and understand what our investors are looking for and what they need. So every part has been such a learning experience, and then you have to learn and grow, and then also teach to our juniors and make sure that they're having a good experience. So it's about like all round learning and adapting as a leader.
Did you ever feel like giving up?
No, but I felt more driven that I have to make this work. We have to make this work, because I don't want to go back and get a regular job. And so that was kind of the drive, is just enjoying doing this. And I want to keep doing this, and I want to keep growing something. I don't want to go back to kind of clocking in and out in a regular job. And so that became the drive for me, to continue and build this. Many times along the way, when things are not working out well and or becoming challenging, you're like, oh my God, I should just go back and just get a job and not have to worry about this. And then you quickly switch and be like, I don't want to do that. I really want to make this work. And having that drive and the desire to make this work kind of kept me going.
Beautiful. So having worked in Toronto, Dubai, and on international mandates, what keeps you in Dubai?
It's interesting, because you're saying you work in Toronto, Dubai. I worked in Abu Dhabi, and I worked in Vancouver, actually, too. I worked in a few cities. And there's a lot of misconceptions about females working here in the Middle East. And I've had a great experience, to be honest, in all of my positions, whether it's consulting, whether it was for the Sovereign Wealth Fund, now even a business owner, and working with other females in very large, high positions in government. So some of our investors, I work very closely with females in high positions in their government roles. And there is a lot of misconceptions of, are you taken seriously, or do they think that once you have a kid you're not going to be as serious or work as hard? And that has not been the case at all. I've been respected in my roles, respected in actually when I gave my opinion, respected my as a contributor into my role in the Sovereign Wealth Fund, and now as a business owner. I haven't had that experience where people are like, you must be faced against discrimination, or can you do this, or can you do that? And no, I haven't had that. And there's a lot of misconceptions that people have on this part of the world when they haven't actually experienced it.
Absolutely, I agree. I mean, I think women are very well respected in society, in Dubai, in business, everywhere you go. I think they're looked up upon, and they are given equal rights. Even if you go today to government companies, there's actually an equal number of women and men. And I really applaud the leadership of UAE for that. It's been a beautiful journey, and it's nice because when you see women thriving in leadership positions across the board, I feel there's more space to create more jobs in even private companies for women.
Yeah, absolutely. And so even at Souq, we have more females than men that were working out with us for a time. And then also we have 2 female founding partners who are equally contributing and growing the business with our partners. And that's a nice thing to see. So it kind of, all the myths that come out that people talk about, it's nice to be living it here and not having to experience what people think it is.
And is Venture Souq conscious about making sure that there is an equal balance? Or how do you?
We hire based on merit,
Okay.
and we just hire a lot of females.
There's no
the females have been amazing.
Bias on hiring only men,
we hire who we think is the best person for the job. I wouldn't want a position because I'm a female. I would want a position because I'm the best person for the job. And we hire for the best person. And a lot of the times it's female hires, and it's worked out very well for us.
Amazing. I always say women can multitask. Women are powerful. They're emotionally resilient.
Yeah.
So I do believe that women have a little bit more qualities than men, maybe.
They're able to. You're right. They're able to juggle and multitask and do so much in a day that it's like our females that work with us. The way they can multitask at work, at home, it's really phenomenal. And we're benefiting from it as a company.
That's amazing. So tell me a little bit about your personal life. How do you balance being a parent and then your relationship with your husband? And of course, there are so many other relationships we need to take care of.
So being a parent is actually my more challenging part of the day, because it matters so much, how I interact with him, what I'm doing. And, every mom goes through this. They, something happens, they're like, oh, you regret saying this or do that, or am I doing the right thing? Did I put him in the right extracurricular activities? Is he in the right school? Does this, every decision you make on a daily basis has such an impact on their life. And that's the one thing you want to, it matters so much to us and to me on a daily basis. So to me, I find that's the most challenging thing. So when I sit with people and I want to share, I'm like, okay, I'm doing this with my kid. What do you think? Is is this the right way to do it? Because that, to me, I find the most challenging job. And managing that, juggling it with work and making sure I'm present for everything that I need to be. I need to, if I have a work dinner and I can't be there for a soccer match, it's tough. And you have to explain to a 7-year-old child that, mommy has to go and take a meeting. And he's amazing at understanding that. And I love that he sees a female in his life that's working, so he can see the equality that
and that's important.
And he learns from that. And I want him to be able to see that, but you want to be there for everything. So we have a lovely son that's able to understand that we have work obligations, but I try to make all the time in the world for him so he feels loved and that his parents are always present, and so that it's the most important part of the day.
So how do you deal with mom guilt when it arises at that time? What do you say yourself at that moment?
Well, because you don't make those meetings if you can between, because they come home at 5 and they're sleeping by 8. You have 3 hours of the day with them. They're at school for the most of the part, or at extracurricular activities. It's trying to prioritize them there at that time, and telling people, what, can we take the call a little bit later because I want to put my son to sleep, or I want to be with him and sit with him while he's having his dinner. So making a conscious effort to make sure that you have those few hours a day with him to be able to be present with him. Yeah. So he knows that, his mom's there and has prioritized him in so life. Important. It's just the feeling that he needs to feel that he's prioritized. Yes. Because it's hard. We're working a lot, always in front of the laptop, and I have to sometimes, close the laptop, and now I'm focusing on you because you can see I'm always distracted or working. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. I'm on the phone and then they're like, oh, mama, I thought this was my time.
Yeah.
So I was like, oops. I'm like, let me put the phone away. Let me put it far from me and the laptop far from me. So I'm not tempted to even look at it. That's so true. So it's all about correcting your course, like, every time catching yourself doing something you're not supposed to and then connecting
there's always
back.
an email that needs to be answered. There's always an emergency that needs to be addressed. And sometimes you need to say, okay, this can wait an hour.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's about that positive self-talk in our mind that we give ourselves and say that, no, this is important to us and let's take care of that.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's the future for Venture Souq?
So for us, there's tech is in such an amazing place to be in, and it's changing and evolving literally on the daily basis, especially with AI. So for us, is really keeping up with it. It really is a very, very important thing. We keep hiring younger and younger with our team members, because there's just the younger guys are they're tech
savvy,
they're native, they're AI native, they're tech native. Whereas we're the generation that went from no cell phones to now doing operating a whole business really off of your cell phone. So we're a generation of being able to adapt and grow and move with the times, whereas the younger generation is really tech native and they're doing everything. Everything is based on tech first and how to build efficiencies and how to do everything quicker and for Venture Souq, that's the future, is to continue with and staying on top of the evolution of tech, the evolution of AI, and how that's going to grow, and that is changing constantly. So staying on top of that, and then for us, it's investing in it before it becomes big. Finding the next biggest thing and investing in it. So if you look at AI. Right now, a lot of people are using AI in their business, and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to use AI. I'm going to have an agent that's able to help with customer service. That's great. I probably got rid of I probably reduced the number of customer service people by half because I have this AI agent that's working. The next generation is like, okay, forget about that. Say you're a law firm and you're able to have that customer service that through an agent. The next generation is like, okay, now AI is going to start drafting the legal documents and doing the actual legal work. So it's now building like a full stack AI company, and that is now completely changing the game in terms of how to build a business. So for us, that's just one example. We have to just stay as Venture Souq, we just have to stay on top of it, and really, we don't need to do the next tech. That we don't have to actually be the engineers. We just need to find the people that are doing it and invest in them early on. So really trying to identify those trends is really key for us.
Amazing. So as we progress in our career, and as you are progressing so beautifully in your career, what's the legacy and purpose you want to leave or live along the journey?
Yeah. So I think we talked a lot about, females working in the workplace, especially in tech where there's not that many. I think I'd like to spend more time, mentoring and helping females grow in their career. And I had someone say this to me once, and I try to do the same thing. It's like, she was a female in a senior role in investing, and she said that if she ever had a female send her a message or an email, cold call or not, she would take the call and she would try her best to help them out. So paying it forward is really important, because I had great mentors that helped me out and helped guide me. So I want to actually can do that and mentor and help grow the next generation. So for me, if female calls, I will answer that email. I will have the meeting, and I'll try to do whatever I can to help and pay it forward as much as possible, because it is challenging being a female and trying to maneuver male-dominated ecosystems, male-dominated workplaces. So if I can be helpful to them, I try to.
That's amazing and beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and all the initiatives that you do. And thank you for being on the show today.
My pleasure.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Come Alive podcast. If you've enjoyed the show, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on whichever platform you're hearing it. Would love to hear your thoughts and comments. And until next time, see you soon.